Why do we train so hard?
So I can breathe.
Why do you need to breathe?
So I can think.
Why?
If I can breathe, I can think.
That's the way, boy. You're one of the greatest MMA middleweights of all time. Now you're working on a fishing trawler.
There's something inherently compelling about stories that explore the raw, unfiltered drive of a fallen champion, and Beast 2026 taps directly into that energy. After years away from the cage, the protagonist, a once feared MMA champion, has built a life defined by careful boundaries and measured routines. Yet beneath the surface, the echoes of his past victories and the scars they left still resonate. The film immediately establishes this duality, the calm and control of life outside the fight, contrasted with the chaos and intensity of the arena he once dominated. Audiences are drawn into this tension from the very start, sensing that a storm is inevitably brewing, and that the peace he has found is fragile, precarious, and entirely threatened by forces beyond his control. The story takes a sharp turn when the protagonist's younger brother is put in danger, pulling him back into a world he thought he had left behind. This inciting incident is more than a plot device. It serves as the emotional anchor of the film. Suddenly, the stakes are no longer professional titles or personal glory. They are visceral, immediate, and intimately tied to family. The narrative cleverly intertwines personal loyalty with professional ambition, creating a sense of urgency that carries through the entire story. As he contemplates returning to the cage, the tension is palpable. Every decision, every hesitation is loaded with the weight of past mistakes, potential redemption, and the undeniable risk of losing everything he has fought to protect. Reuniting with the trainer who once guided him to greatness adds another layer of depth. This relationship is steeped in history, respect, and a shared understanding of what it means to fight at the highest level. The trainer is not just a coach, he represents the disciplined mind that helped the champion rise from obscurity to legendary status. Their reunion is charged with both nostalgia and intensity. It's a reminder that mastery in the cage is never just about physical prowess. It's about mental preparation, timing, and the ability to withstand both external and internal pressure. In these moments, the film captures the essence of mentorship and loyalty, portraying a bond forged in struggle and defined by mutual respect, while also highlighting the inevitable friction that comes from differing perspectives on how to approach a final, career-defining fight. The core of Beast 2026 revolves around the ultimate showdown with the reigning title holder, a formidable fighter whose reputation is built on brutality and dominance. This antagonist is not a one-dimensional villain, but a carefully constructed challenge, embodying everything the ex-champ was once feared for. The film uses this dynamic to explore legacy in a visceral, tangible way. The younger champion represents not just a physical threat, but a symbolic one, a force determined to dismantle the ex-champ's achievements and redefine the landscape of MMA in the public eye. Every confrontation, whether in training or face-to-face, is infused with tension, illustrating how professional rivalry can mirror personal stakes and internal conflicts. The audience is drawn into a world where every punch, every tactical decision, and every reaction is magnified by the consequences waiting just beyond the bell. Beyond the action, the emotional stakes are what truly elevate the film. The protagonist's journey is not merely a physical return to combat, it is a confrontation with his own mortality, his past choices, and the fragile balance between pride and humility. Throughout the story, he faces a relentless push to his limits, both in the gym and in the cage. These sequences are crafted to feel intense and immersive, giving viewers a sense of being there, feeling the impact of every blow, the strain of every maneuver, and the mental calculations happening in real time. The choreography of the fights is deliberate, showcasing the discipline, skill, and raw power that define high-level MMA, while never losing sight of the narrative tension that underpins each confrontation. The film also delves into the psychological dimensions of its characters, particularly the champion's internal struggle with identity. After stepping away from the sport, he spent years constructing a life defined by control and distance from the violence that once defined him. Returning to the cage forces him to reconcile these two selves, the disciplined man who values family and stability, and the fighter whose reputation was forged in the crucible of pain, risk, and competition. This tension is central to the narrative, creating a dynamic where every decision carries weight, and the audience is invited to witness a character navigating a landscape where victory is measured not just in points or titles, but in survival, integrity, and the preservation of what truly matters. At the heart of Beast is an exploration of sacrifice and resilience. The protagonist's commitment to one final showdown is not motivated by ego alone, but by the stakes of protecting those he loves and proving to himself and the world that he still belongs in a realm defined by courage, grit, and determination. The narrative continuously reminds viewers that combat sports are not just physical contests, but arenas for proving character, facing fear, and confronting the consequences of past choices. Every punch, every counter, and every tactical maneuver becomes a metaphor for the protagonist's broader struggle, the need to fight, to endure, and to emerge not merely victorious, but whole. The presence of a younger, aggressive, and unyielding opponent amplifies the tension, creating a cinematic landscape where every moment feels charged with potential triumph or devastating failure. This antagonist's determination to dismantle the ex-champ's legacy is mirrored in the audience's understanding of how fragile fame and respect can be when challenged by a rising force. The narrative brilliantly balances action with reflection, showing that the real fight is often internal, controlling fear, managing pressure, and harnessing one's own limitations into a strategy for success. These elements make the film resonate beyond the cage, speaking to universal themes of perseverance, courage, and the pursuit of redemption. Throughout the film, the supporting characters play crucial roles in grounding the story emotionally. The trainer, representing discipline, experience, and strategic insight, contrasts with the impulsive and sometimes reckless nature of the younger brother, whose vulnerability is both a motivator and a source of tension. The interplay between these relationships allows the narrative to explore broader themes of mentorship, responsibility, and the consequences of one's choices. By showing the champion navigating these complex emotional landscapes, the film provides depth and nuance that extends beyond the spectacle of combat. The action sequences themselves are constructed to feel authentic and visceral, reflecting the high stakes and emotional intensity of the story. Rather than relying solely on spectacle, the choreography emphasizes realism, strategy, and the psychological interplay between fighters. The camera work and pacing mirror the rhythm of MMA itself, bursts of intense activity, punctuated by moments of tension, calculation, and anticipation. These sequences are more than visual excitement. They are narrative tools, illustrating character growth, resilience, and the stakes involved in every exchange. Audiences experience the fight not just as spectators, but as participants in the protagonist's journey, feeling the stakes as deeply as he does. One of the most compelling aspects of Beast 2026 is its exploration of legacy. The protagonist's confrontation with the reigning champion is not merely about winning a title, but about reclaiming identity, confronting mortality, and proving to himself and the world that his years of absence have not diminished his spirit or capability. Legacy in this film is a living, breathing concept. It is measured not just by victories and accolades, but by the choices made under pressure, the ability to endure, and the courage to face overwhelming odds. This theme resonates deeply, giving the story emotional weight that lingers long after the final bell. The performances of the cast, including Daniel Macpherson, Luke Hemsworth, and Oscar winner Russell Crowe, bring authenticity and gravitas to the narrative. The lead embodies the physicality, intensity, and emotional complexity required to portray a character grappling with both personal and professional stakes. The chemistry between the protagonist and his trainer adds layers of depth, showing a relationship forged through hardship, mutual respect, and shared history. Meanwhile, the antagonist's presence creates a palpable sense of danger, challenging the protagonist at every turn and amplifying the suspense and tension throughout the film. These performances elevate the story, making every emotional beat, every confrontation, and every victory or setback feel earned and impactful. Beast 2026 ultimately delivers a cinematic experience that is both thrilling and emotionally resonant. It balances pulse-pounding action with nuanced character development, creating a narrative that explores courage, sacrifice, and the relentless pursuit of redemption. The film reminds viewers that the true measure of a fighter is not just in the power of their punches or the speed of their strikes, but in the resilience of their spirit, the depth of their loyalty, and the willingness to confront fear head-on. From the very first scene to the climactic showdown, the story is a testament to the human drive to overcome, endure, and triumph, even when the odds seem insurmountable. By the time the final moments unfold, audiences are left with a profound appreciation for the journey the protagonist has undertaken. Every challenge faced, every risk taken, and every obstacle overcome underscores a central truth. Greatness is not simply inherited or remembered, it is earned, defended, and proven in the crucible of life. The tension, stakes, and emotion of Beast 2026 create a cinematic experience that resonates long after the credits roll, combining adrenaline-fueled spectacle with a deeply human story of courage, sacrifice, and the relentless pursuit of redemption. It's a film that speaks to anyone who has faced insurmountable odds, anyone who has had to fight not just for glory, but for the people and principles that define who they are.